Welcome back to EtherLink AI Insights. I'm Alex, and today we're diving into something really unique, an immersive AI leadership experience happening in one of Europe's most unexpected locations. We're talking about the AI Retreat Finland program. And Sam, I have to say, when I first heard about this, I thought it was unconventional, but the data behind it is compelling.
Right? And that's exactly why I'm excited to unpack this today. We're seeing a massive disconnect in corporate AI right now. 73% of leaders say AI adoption is critical, but only 35% have actually scaled it successfully. That's not a training gap, Alex. That's an execution and mindset gap. A 7-day retreat in Lapland isn't a vacation disguised as a workshop. It's strategic.
So let's start with the obvious question. Why Lapland? Why not a 5-star hotel in Amsterdam or Berlin? What makes Finnish Lapland the right setting for this kind of transformation work?
This is where it gets interesting. The research shows that off-site strategic retreats with peer cohorts drive 2.3 times higher implementation rates than traditional in-office training. But it's not just about getting away from your desk. The Lapland environment, the midnight sun, the national parks, the isolation, it's deliberately designed to reduce decision fatigue and increase creative problem-solving by about 40%, according to University of Helsinki research. When you're in that kind of natural setting, your brain works differently.
That's fascinating. So it's not just about the fresh air and the scenery, it's that the environment literally changes how your brain approaches complex problems. And for AI leaders dealing with organizational resistance and change management, that's crucial, right?
Exactly. You're dealing with people who are anxious about AI, skeptical about automation, worried about job security. You can't solve that mentality in a hotel conference room back home. You need psychological safety, cognitive space, and a cohort of peers facing the same challenges. 8 people, max capacity, all working through real organizational problems together. That's where breakthroughs happen.
Let's talk about what people actually build during these 7 days. Because this isn't just sitting around talking about AI strategy. There are real deliverables, right?
Absolutely. Each participant gets assigned a dedicated AI mentor, not a trainer lecturing at you, but someone who understands both the technical architecture and the organizational psychology side of implementation. Over the week, you're building your own AI agent from scratch. You're learning the principles behind agentic AI systems, which, by the way, is where the market is heading. Gartner is forecasting explosive growth in agentic AI by 2026, and most organizations don't have the internal expertise to build these responsibly.
So participants are learning the cutting-edge stuff that's actually going to drive competitive advantage in their organizations. What else comes out of the program?
3 major outputs. First, you develop what they call the Golden Prompt Stack, a proprietary framework for designing conversational flows that actually drive adoption. This is about making chatbots and AI tools that your teams will actually use, not systems that sit idle. Second, you leave with a 90-day implementation playbook customized to your specific organization's workflows and risk profile. Third, you earn an AI Lead Architecture certification that's recognized across European AI consulting networks. These aren't participation trophies, Alex. They're production-ready tools you're using the moment you get back to the office.
I love that. It's not theoretical. It's immediately applicable. And you mentioned compliance earlier. That seems really important given all the regulatory changes happening in Europe right now.
That's the critical piece most organizations are missing. Everything built during the retreat is grounded in EU AI Act requirements and organizational governance frameworks. You're not designing AI systems in a vacuum. You're learning to build systems that have human-in-the-loop validation, that align with regulatory standards, and that your legal and compliance teams won't fight you on. That's the real-world constraint most training programs ignore.
Let me ask this. What kind of AI use cases are people actually working through? Because I imagine there's a big difference between a theoretical build an AI agent exercise and real organizational problems.
The curriculum covers the big ones: automating customer service workflows, building compliance-aware chatbots, integrating AI into marketing automation pipelines. But here's the thing. The participants are also designing the change management strategies that actually stick. There's a logistics company case study in the content that really illustrates this. They'd invested in ChatGPT licenses, hired AI specialists, but 6 months in, adoption was near zero. Warehouse staff, customer service teams, nobody was using it. That's the gap between awareness and adoption that we're talking about.
So what would the retreat have done differently in that scenario? How does that change management piece actually work?
This is where the cohort learning becomes invaluable. You're not just thinking about your own organization's resistance in isolation. You're learning frameworks from an experienced mentor while also hearing how peers in similar industries solved it. The Golden Prompt Stack, for instance, isn't just about technical prompts. It's about designing conversations that reduce user friction and anxiety. For warehouse staff skeptical about automation, that might mean building an AI system that explains why it's making a recommendation, not just what to do. It's psychology baked into the architecture.
So the real value is that you're leaving with both the technical tools and the organizational playbook. You understand how to implement AI in a way that actually gets adoption, not just compliance. That's the difference between a failed pilot and a scaled success.
Precisely. And given that we're in 2024, heading into 2025 and 2026, when agentic AI is going to become the standard, organizations that haven't figured out how to build these systems safely and with actual organizational buy-in are going to struggle. This retreat is positioned at exactly the right moment. You're learning skills that are about to be table stakes in your industry.
For our listeners who are thinking about this, who should really consider applying? Is this just for CIOs and chief AI officers, or is there a wider range of people who would benefit?
The cohort is executive leaders, architects, and change agents. So yes, CIOs, but also heads of business units thinking about AI-driven transformation, organizational development leaders, heads of customer service looking to automate workflows. Anyone responsible for actually making AI adoption happen in their organization. It's not a technical coding boot camp. It's for decision-makers who need to understand how to build, deploy, and scale AI systems responsibly and effectively.
That makes sense. Last question before we wrap up. What's the actual time commitment, and is this accessible to people who are really busy running large organizations?
It's a 7-day retreat, so you're away from your office for a week. That's a real commitment, and I think that's actually intentional. Organizations that are serious about transformation need to create that cognitive and physical space. It's not a long weekend or a 2-day workshop, but the ROI is significant. Research shows that executives who do this kind of off-site peer learning implement new practices at 2.3 times the rate of those who stay in office. For a week out of your year, that's a strong return.
All right, Sam, this has been really insightful. If our listeners want to explore this more, see the full program details, enrollment information, maybe some more case studies, where should they go?
Head over to etherlink.ai to find the complete article on the AI Retreat Finland program. There's much more detail there about the curriculum, the mentorship model, testimonials from past participants, and how to apply. It's worth a deep dive if you're serious about AI leadership and transformation.
Perfect. Thanks, Sam. And thanks to all of you listening to EtherLink AI Insights. We'll be back next time with more insights on AI adoption, organizational transformation, and the future of work. Until then, keep thinking boldly about how AI can transform your organization. Take care.